Never stop reading the Bible. Today, we're going to explore a really remarkable set of ancient laws that offer this radical vision for how a society could work. It's a blueprint built around justice, rest, and restoration. So let's dive right in. I mean, think about that for a second. Not just for your phone or your computer, but for the entire economy. What if, by law, wealth couldn't just pile up in one place forever, and things like generational poverty were actually structurally prevented? It sounds like a super modern idea, right? But it's actually at the very heart of the ancient text we're looking at today.
Now, before we get to the really wild economic stuff, we have to start where the text does. And that's with the foundational rules that ordered the community's relationship with the sacred. These laws set up a rhythm of devotion and reverence that everything else is built on.
So you've got these two powerful symbols of order and consistency. The lamp that has to stay lit, always, and the bread that's renewed every single week. Now, these aren't just random rules. They represent a constant, ordered presence right at the center of the community, kind of setting the stage for order in every other part of life.
Okay, so from that sacred center, the principles start to expand outward to guide how people treat each other. The focus shifts to civil and criminal justice, and it lays down a really clear standard for fairness and accountability. This is probably one of the most famous and maybe one of the most misunderstood legal principles in all of history: an eye for an eye. Now, to our modern ears, that sounds pretty harsh, but its original purpose was actually revolutionary. It wasn't a command for unlimited revenge. It was a limit on it. The punishment could not be worse than the crime. It created this principle of proportional justice.
And here's a really crucial point. There wasn't one set of laws for the rich and another for the poor, or one for citizens and another for immigrants. The law was a single, universal standard that applied equally to everyone in the community. And that was a radical idea of equality before the law.
So now the idea of justice and rest gets even bigger. It expands beyond people to the land itself. You see, for this ancient society, the land wasn't just property. It was a gift, something that also deserved its own time to rest.
The whole system was based on a 7-year cycle. It's pretty straightforward. You could farm and harvest your fields for 6 years, but that 7th year, that year was different. In the 7th year, the land itself got a Sabbath, a full year of rest to just lie fallow and recover.
But this was so much more than just an agricultural practice. It was an economic one, too. During this sabbatical year, debts were relaxed, and whatever grew on the land all by itself was considered common property. It was available for the poor and even wild animals to eat. It was like a built-in mechanism for social relief and environmental care.
But believe it or not, the sabbatical year was really just a warm-up. This ancient blueprint had a mechanism that went even further, something truly unique that acted as the ultimate economic and social failsafe.
So after 7 of these sabbatical cycles, that's 7 times 7 years, 49 years, something absolutely extraordinary was supposed to happen in the 50th year. This year was the grand finale of the entire system. It was called the Year of Jubilee. This was it, the societal reset button we were talking about earlier. It was a holy year designed to completely rebalance the social and economic landscape, and it's a system that historians point out is pretty much unique in the ancient world.
And this reset was profound. Any ancestral land that had been sold because of hardship automatically went back to its original family. This prevented the creation of a permanent landless class. All debts were just canceled, and any member of the community who had sold themselves into servitude was set free. It was a radical, system-wide liberation.
Now, the Year of Jubilee wasn't just some big party that happened once in a generation. The fact that it was coming shaped all the economic activity in the 49 years leading up to it. It created this really unique economic ethic based on liberation, not exploitation.
So, what this meant was you couldn't actually sell your land forever. You were really only selling the harvests until the next Jubilee, which kept the prices fair. It was forbidden to charge interest to a fellow citizen who was in need, which prevented those awful debt traps. And because everybody knew that servants would be freed at the Jubilee, there was a legal and moral obligation to treat them with dignity, like hired workers, not property.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. This ancient blueprint imagines a society where the economy isn't just a machine for endless accumulation, but a system designed for periodic release, restoration, and human dignity. It really makes you wonder, what principles from this ancient vision could we possibly apply to our own world today?
This explainer was produced by the Center Studio.